welcome to another solo playthrough of Grendel, the Game of Crime and Mayhem. Today, since we unlocked it last week, I thought it would be cool to show you what the Grendel solo automata is like. Last time we did the mob, and this time I'll be playing police, just to show off a little bit more of the game's mechanics. So we've got the map set up here as a two-player game, Grendel versus police. Same sort of setup as before. We set up two-player against the automata faction that you're playing against. And here, Grendel is set up and ready to go. Got the location decks. We've pulled out into the discard all the cards that Grendel is already scoring in the spaces of, and that's just this one, because he only starts with one ambush token. And then you can see here that Grendel has a different solo board than the mob, because Grendel is going to use pulling chits out of his bag to decide what actions he's going to take. So I will just show by doing. So we're going to start by flipping a location card. So Grendel's first action is going to target location 8 in Queens, and then we pull a token from the bag. And it's a shock fork. So what we do is we will put it in the leftmost available spot of the track that it matches to, and then you do the actions from left to right, starting of all the spaces in that track that are filled up. So initially here, we're just going to, he's going to destroy a grunt, and then he's going to move to the space that he is targeting. Now, this is where Grendel is really different from the mob. So the mob, when they draw a card, they do their actions in that space. But Grendel is a single figure who's running around. And so what happens is he actually targets the space he is in, and the card you draw, he will sometimes move to that space. And so that's how he'll work. So I'm not going to quite see, he tries to destroy a grunt in a space, but there isn't one there. And then he moves to space 8 in Queens. So we're gonna keep going here. Okay, so now he flips a card from the second deck, Manhattan 4, and we pull a white, so we're going to put that there. So now he is going to, looking at this track, we're going to see he adds a 2 to the tower of the zone he is currently in, and then he moves to the space that was drawn. So he is in Queens, so he'll put a 2 in this tower. And then he drew the 4 of Manhattan, so he moves himself over there. And then finally, he draws his Brooklyn card. It's the 12, and we get a shock fork. Okay, so now we're going to see what happens when he does multiple actions off a track. So he'll start by doing the leftmost one. He's going to try and destroy a token in his space, and then he's going to move to Brooklyn 12. So we look over to his space. Oh, there is a grunt there. He's going to destroy that. And if we look at his board, he does have consequences. The mob automata does not have consequences, but Grendel does. Again, so that it plays more like Grendel does in the regular game. So his consequence is always the same. He gets to add a token, and then he is going to move to space 12. And I remember what the next action was, which is he's going to destroy another piece. And so our Grendel has... yeah, you see that's a second grunt destroy. So Grendel has, on his first turn, created 2 fear and added 1 token to a tower. All right, over to me. I'm just playing police straight up by the regular rules. So I can move my cards up to 2 spaces. I'm going to go here, and then I do the actions in that space. So I get to add a token to a tower, and I also get to deploy one of my my vehicles. My vehicles have different upgrades that are unlocked by deploying them. I'm going to deploy this one. I always like getting lots of cards. Put that in a space that I'm in. All right, so we're going to stick that. We're going to stick that over here. Grendel already acted in space 8, so I can do some things there without it being too much trouble. Saw Grendel put a token in the Queen's Tower. I don't want to get too far behind him, so I will follow suit. And then I'll do 2 spaces with this car. I get a move, and I get to deploy a captain and 2 grunts. I also get an arrest because both of my cop cars are beside each other. So let's see how that works. So when I get an arrest, I get to pick a piece that is in one of my spaces. And we'll take this guy. And I get to put it in one of my arrest spots. And then it's going to unlock the corresponding ability. I'm going to pick that one. All right. And that is going to mean that now when I deploy, I actually deploy an extra grunt. And also, I get a grunt for doing an arrest. So I'm going to get 1 captain and 4 grunts. This is a good hearty start. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Just get some guys everywhere. All right, and that is my turn. Now we go back to Grendel. All right, so he's going to flip the Queen's card. He's going to activate space 9. And this time he's doing Hunter Rose. So that means he's going to add a 3 to his current zone. So his 3 goes here. And then he pops up to space number 9. All right. And now Manhattan, as you can see, once you get the flow down, it goes pretty quick. All right. So he's going to put a 2 in his current zone. He's going to move, and then he's going to gain 1 aggression. So his current zone, all right, so he's just really like working the Queen's Tower, and then he's going to move to the 1 up in Manhattan. Oh no, oh no. Brooklyn, what's he going to do? Hunter Rose, thank goodness. So he tries to place the 3, but he's already done that, so he doesn't have the 3 token to place. So now he's just going to move to 13. Oh, and he's going to add a fear to that space. Just straight up adding a fear because he's got the second action on Hunter Rose there. All right, over to me. Already. So I could push for an upgrade. Or I can get lots of aggression in the towers. I think I'm going to... 1, 2. Gonna put that there, so I get to deploy another. So I'm gonna do this one. So and then I get to destroy a token, degrade a token, and add something to a tower. So I'm gonna put this in this space. I really need to move my guys around if I'm gonna put more things out. Need to degrade a token, which. Tricky. I don't entirely want to, because I want to be able to arrest the Grendel token. So I'm actually going to skip that action. I want to arrest it because I can't arrest 2 pieces of the same faction, and so and I can only arrest in spaces where I've got presence. So right now I've already got a grunt from the police, from the mob arrested, but this token that Grendel has placed is a great candidate for me to arrest. But if I degrade it, it's not going to be there. So I'm actually going to skip that degrade. And then we're going to go pop, pop, bam. All right, so I get an arrest. We're going to get that token. We're going to arrest it. We're going to stick it right here, which gets us an extra grunt. We're just going to stick him out before we forget. Bunch of little things happening right now. So resolve the arrest fully, but now I get 2 cards when I draw cards, and I got a draw a card icon right there. So I'll get 2 cards, love cards, and I get to deploy 3 grunts and a captain, but I also will get an upgrade, and I can just pop it right in there right away and benefit from it. So I think I am going to. I'm going to do that. We're going for a high aggression game. We're just really going to try and make queens happen. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, and then I have my deploys. So 1 captain and 3 grunts. I am super loaded in the world. Goodness. So many pieces just in 3 spaces, though. All right, now we go to Grendel. All right, so he's going to pull Queen 7, and he's going to do Hunter Rose. All right, so he's going to try and add the 3. He can't do that, but then he'll move to Queen 7 Okay, and then he's going to add a fear, and then he's going to add a 1 to that tower. Good job, Grendel. Thank you. Helping me along here. And now he's finished the track, so he does the effects at the end of the track. So in this case, he reclaims duplicates. So he looks on the board, and any space where he has 2 fear tokens, he'll pull back all of them except 1, and then shield the last one, the one that gets left behind. So there's nothing to reclaim right now. It's still pretty early. And he also does an upgrade. So when he does an upgrade, he's going to peel off 1 of the tokens from the track. Oops, I don't want to put the... yeah, 1 of the tokens from the track. And when he puts his tokens back in the bag, he's going to put the indicated upgrade in. So now that's the shield token. Okay, we'll talk about what that does when we see it. Okay, so next, we get Hunter Rose again. Okay, so he's going to Manhattan 2, and he is not able to place a 3 in any tower, so he's not going to. And then we get Brooklyn 15. All right, and he's going to wrap this track up. Okay. So he's going to put a 2 in his current tower. Manhattan gets its first. And then he is going to gain 1 aggression. And then 2 in his current tower. He's going to move to space 15. He's going to gain an aggression, and he's going to try and degrade. But there's nothing to degrade. He does a reclaim. These go back in, and he gets that. Oof. All right, so that's going to be a little tasty. He's going to start biting a little harder now that he's got those upgrade tokens. But we don't have to worry about that until his next turn. All right, so we're going to start by moving this over here. I'm going to upgrade and add movement there using Police's spot upgrade ability to give me some minor control over what's happening here. Situation. So I'm going to move a little squadlet over here because I got an arrest. I'm going to take that. I'm going to put that there, which gets me my last grunt. All of my grunts are out now. So I did the move and I did the arrest. I can add a token and I can deploy another wagon. So the fun part about now is that I've unlocked this. So when I deploy wagons, they get shields. So this guy's going to go out right here and bam, now he's shielded. And I get to add something to a tower, and we're just going to keep driving the queen's action. There it is, tower triggers. Okay. All right, so then this guy, I don't really need the arrest. Because I'm like loaded up and happy with what's going on there. So I'm going to go, and yeah, I'm fully deployed. So I'm actually going to step it out here. I get a movement, and I get to add another token to a tower. So I'm going to pop a 2 in the Brooklyn Tower, and I get some movement. So I know that there's a mayhem happening up here now. I'm going to move this guy 2 spaces over here with just 1 guy tailing him, just to have some, like, auxiliary support just hanging out nearby the edge of the mayhem zone. Okay, so let's see what we got. That was a very aggressive push on my part, and it seems to have worked out quite well for me. Okay, so I got 3, 4, 5, and then so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, 8. 1 more would have been nice. I mean, that was the price of pushing by dropping the 1. Okay, so and then Grendel gets 5, but he's already sitting at 6, so 5, so that's 7. Okay. All right, and now we're going to see how Mayhem goes. So, top of the Mayhem, we're going to reset Grendel's deck for the location. So he's already scoring in 7 and 6. So we're going to set those 2 in his discard and then load the decks. Bam, bam. Okay, and then I take the first turn of the Mayhem. All right, so what have I got? Arrest 1 piece. So I think I have pieces of that faction already. Destroy it. Ooh, pull strings is tasty. Okay, so I can use that to pop a fear. Overwatch, you may move a wagon Ooh, I can move a wagon and then redistribute. As long as I end up in spaces with wagons. Okay, okay. Long range, move all of your figures from one space in the Mayhem Zone to any space outside the Mayhem Zone, and then destroy a captain. Oh, I see. So I leave the Mayhem Zone and then pop a captain. Okay, that may be useful for getting space 7. I want to see what Grendel does first, though. And then make a deal. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that one's nice and solo, I guess, because Grendel doesn't draw cards. Okay. Well, these cards are handy, but it's nothing I need to use this second, so I think I'm going to just spend my first 3 aggression doing some mild positioning. So my task is to have more pieces in a space than any other faction. I have to have the most. So right now I've got these 2 spaces on lock. So I'm going to do a move. I'm going to leave 2 grunts here, and then these guys are going to come up here, and then I'm going to degrade this. And that's my 3, and then when I degrade a token, I get to deploy a grunt, but I'm fully deployed. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then we move over to Grendel. Okay. So how does Grendel in Mayhem work? Same way. The difference is Grendel in Mayhem uses these little mini tracks on the right, but otherwise it's draw a card, draw a token, spend aggression. So he's going to put that there, and he spends 1 of his 7 down to 6, and that moves him to the target space. So he moves to space 8. Where is he? All right. He's in, and he's threatening. All right. Draws the 9. Next token. Oh, okay. So that costs 1. He spends 1 aggression for every token. That's what the little 1 in the corner shows. Just a reminder, when you put a token there, he spends 1 aggression. So he always takes 3 actions, but some of those actions are bigger than others when he does the double space on second space on the track. Okay, so space 9, but first he drew the shock fork there, so that means he's going to destroy a grunt, and then he's going to move to space 9. So that stinks for me. Destroys a grunt, and then he moves over to space 9. Should have seen this coming. All right, and then finally for his last trick, he's going to do, progressive destroy. So that icon on the bottom there, that is progressive destroy. He's going to try to destroy a grunt. If he can't, he'll degrade. If he can't, he'll destroy a captain. So he's going to try to destroy a grunt, and he can. He's got 1 of mine. Bam. Ouch. And he gets his token. Alright, so that was Grendel's first turn. That was rough for me. I lost 2 grunts, and I lost scoring in 9. He's almost certainly going to come for space 6 now, because it's the only place he isn't scoring. So, now is the time to spend 1. I think we're going to pull strings. So, that lets me arrest a... Oh, this is going to be important here. Set here. So it's 3. This is here. Okay, so I'm going to spend me down to 2. To arrest a token, I'm going to arrest this one. I'll put that here. Now I can spend 4 aggression on a Mayhem turn. Lets me deploy a grunt. I'm going to do that. And if I have a piece from that faction arrested already, and I do, I destroy it. So we're just going to destroy that that fear. And having destroyed a fear, we have a consequence. We're going to get another grunt. Take that, Grendel. I'm going to put him up here because those guys are in trouble. So that was 1, and then I can shift this over because now I can spend 4, which will spend me down to 1. Not necessarily the best idea. But actually, why not? Okay. Okay, and I will spend 1 to take that grunt out. 1. And when I destroy a grunt, I get a 1 space movement, which is very handy here. We're going to do that. And then I'm going to spend 1. And we're going to do long range. So I gotta move a guy out of the mayhem zone. All right, he goes out of there, and then I'm gonna destroy a captain. Right? Move all of your figures from one space in the mayhem zone to one space outside the mayhem zone. Oh, it's all of your figures. Okay, so when I did that movement, I'm just gonna move the single captain in. So I move him out. So I did the movement. I move the captain and the grunt back, and then the captain gets shot out. Okay, so now I'm not in space 7 at all, but I'm gonna spend my 1, leaving me at 1, to move these guys back in. There we go. All right, so I got 1 aggression left, but that was a pretty successful turn. All right, Grendel. All right, so we got to reset his deck. It's going to have space 9 and space 6 in it now, because he's not scoring in those. He's going to do those 2, so space 9. All right, so he drew this. Okay, so how does this work? So this token just gets placed in the same row where the upgrade is attached. So it comes from the Hunter Rose row, so it's really just a boosted Hunter Rose token. And it features a shield effect. And so you resolve that after, as the last action effect that Grendel will do in the sequence. So it's like an extra icon for him. Okay, so first he does a progressive destroy in his current space, so he's going to get 1 of my grunts, and then he's going to move to the targeted space, which is 9, that's where he already is, and then he is going to degrade, and then he is going to shield. Alright, that was a very productive turn for Grendel. And then he does a reclaim duplicates, and these go back in the bag. And notice that there is no upgrade effect in the Mayhem mini tracks. Okay, so he's down to 3. All right, space 6. We knew that was coming. Oh, look at that. He's gonna do that. So he's gonna move to space 6. Ooh, hello. Oh no, speed. This one's brutal. Okay, so then he's going to take out a grunt and he's gonna degrade. Oh, thank goodness. The one space I don't have a wagon. He's gonna take out a grunt though. That's gonna ruin my scoring. It ruins his too, but. And finally, he's now scoring. Oh, space 6 is the only space he's not scoring in. So his deck would get reset because it's empty. And then space 6 is where he's going to act again. And then Hunter Rose, he's going to do a progressive destroy. And again, he prefers to hurt me. So even though that doesn't help his scoring, it is what he wants to do. All right. So there's no way I can score in that space now, because I can't get more pieces and destroy pieces so there's less than 3 there. I need to get 2 more pieces in there and destroy that grunt. And I only have 1 aggression left. So I'm going to spend my last 1 before I score. Actually leaving the zone. I'm going to move this captain out to here because that guy has got the scoring under control. Yeah, I'm going to move this captain out to here. And then I will score 3 points. All right. And Grendel goes. Grendel has 1 more turn to go. He's got 1 more aggression left. Oops, we forgot to spend him down. I was so excited to take his turn and have him beat me up. I forgot to spend his points. All right, so he's just going to... yeah, he did. He did a reclaim right there. Again, I was just so like excited to narrate how he had made things a mess for me. So there's a reclaim right there. So I mean, I could have done something about that. Now I could have gotten the 4 points if I had have remembered to do the reclaim. But I'm still happy with what I did. There's a chance that he might not score here himself if he draws a speed. And he did. He effectively did. Because again, you put the token in the track that matches it. He does get the effect last though. So he's going to move to space 6, which is where he already is. He's going to degrade there. There's nothing for him to degrade. And then he's going to score 3 points because he's got these 3 spaces. And that is our Queen's Mayhem. That is done. Okay, and then so again with the solo rules, the Queen's deck will get set to the side, and now Grendel's going to take 2 actions in Brooklyn during the regular turn. So yeah, that's a quick sample of how Grendel plays up through the first mayhem of a solo game. We still have two more mayhems to go. One thing you might notice if you watched the other solo video with the mob is really, really aggressive about putting aggression in the tower. Grendel isn't. So when you're playing against the mob automata tends to drive towards mayhems, whereas Grendel is a little bit more leisurely about it because he does a lot of destroying your stuff and making tokens during the planning phase. So he's always putting pressure on you, not through the towers, but through the token creation. And so, as the player, when you're playing against the Grendel Automata, you've got a little bit more room to direct the flow of the mayhem. So it opens up different strategies than the kinds of strategies that you'll be employing when playing against the mob. So that's just another way in which these automata feel different. Grendel's not only running around and destroying stuff and primarily dropping tokens on you instead of grunts and captains, but he's also putting less pressure on the towers and more pressure on your board presence. Again, creating a much different feel and experience than the mob automata. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And again, thank you so much for supporting us. And I look forward to seeing how the rest of this week goes in the Kickstarter and polishing this up and getting it all into your hands. All right, cheers.